Gospel Updates TV. I'm Larry W. Robinson. This is the Larry W. Robinson Show. I am here with one of my favorite female groups of all time. The one and only RiZen is with me. And it feels like forever since we've been together for a conversation. Do me a favor, go to gospelupdates.com and download the latest issue of the magazine. And then while you're there, download the latest issue of our newsletter. It's all at gospelupdates.com. And then if you want to see all of the features, go to gospelupdates.com/features. RiZen, what's up?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey,
Listen,
everybody.
RiZen burst on the scene, the gospel music scene in 2003 with the ladies leading. The single was, and I'll never forget, View That Holy City. One of my favorite songs today. They earned a Stellar Award for that, for New Artist of the Year. And then in 2010, they took a hiatus. And so we're going to talk about why, and we'll talk about some new music. Ladies, what happened? I was like, no.
In the words of my sister,
Yeah.
in the words of Andrea, life happened.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Life happened. Do you mind sharing just some of the things? Because I'm a super fan, so I'm like, okay, so, and I know Adrian, we talked because you've done some things since then, but we will kind of know what everybody was doing.
Well, okay, so everybody knows that I got married, just took a break and finished school, got my master's degree and all that good stuff. And then I started a solo career. I have 3 singles out on iTunes, and that's not because I really, really wanted to do it, but my husband, Pastor Freeman, kept on egging me on to do it, and it's been a great ride, and I appreciate it. And the Lord has blessed that this year. Crossing my fingers that I be on the stellar ballot. So some great things have happened, and I'm excited. But I'm most excited about being with the girls again.
Yeah, and for like me, Andrea, like our father got sick during that time. And so I was in New Orleans for a couple of years. And so I moved back to Michigan to take care of my parents. And it allowed us to have that family time. Because I tell you, Larry, since 2004, all the way up to that very moment, we were working nonstop. So we didn't really have vacation times. We didn't really have Christmas and Easter, how y'all eating around the table with family. We were at somebody's church dancing and shouting and praising God, and going home and asking what's there's leftovers, so it was a great time for us to kind of like get to know our families again and to have that connection with oneself and making sure that we're still lining up with the other things that God has purpose for us to do. And so I'm like Adrian, I'm so glad that God is so magnificent that he allowed our season to come back around. And we're just so elated to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And while go ahead, Kanika.
No matter. I know for me, my husband and I and our girls, we moved to Monroe, Louisiana.
Really?
Yeah, I'm in the row.
I was
And
born in Monroe.
yes. And like everybody else, life happened. We had 3 girls. We moved to Louisiana, and my first lady said we had to give her a Monroe baby. So we had a little boy. So my husband finally got his son. Hallelujah. Thank you. But just enjoying life, enjoying our girls growing up, and our son. And I went to cosmetology school. I've been working and doing hair on the side. So when I got the call from Pastor Darren saying, you know what, y'all need to come on back, it's like, okay. So here we are. And I couldn't be more excited, elated, and all that to be back with my sisters.
And I was the first one actually to drop off the scene. And my mom became ill. She eventually was placed in a facility. But when I first got out, it was to take care of her and to do things that I needed to do with her. After that, I had children. I've gotten married in the process. It's been I've been out, it's been 16 years and I've been at my current place of employment for 16 years working for a local municipality in human resources. So I've been there. I'm excited to be back with my sisters, and I'm excited to see what God is going to do with this project.
So we got to talk about, this pandemic. How have you been adjusting during the pandemic? And then we'll talk about. I was just thinking about. Say they're getting ready to revive their music career in the midst of a pandemic. That's gonna be so interesting. So how have you been prospering through the pandemic? And then let's talk about how do you plan to move forward.
Well, for me, the pandemic was just crazy. Like, I'm an educator, and so it was like, whatever's on your desk, whatever is important to you, take it home. And then I never saw the school again until like earlier this year. And so it was a shock to me. And then in the process, my husband and I, we had COVID, and that wasn't a good experience at all. But I think what really kept me going and my family going is that my husband never stopped going to church. I think we were like out for 2 weeks at home. And then after that, we were just like straight virtual. So still having the opportunity to go worship the Lord in the church and being able to reach people through, whatever social media outlet that we were streaming from really helped me cope with the pandemic.
Now, didn't y'all, I want to say you built a new facility too?
During a pandemic, yes, we did. And I know, right? God is so good. And so we're excited and we're in the building and it's just wonderful.
That is amazing. All right, Miss Andrea.
For me, I'm like my sister, I'm an educator, I'm a preschool teacher. And so they were like, you still have to come to work, but we'll let the kids, be at home. And I was like, come on, Jesus, please let me go home, And so they finally said, we had to go home because, the governor said so. And so I was able to come home, teach from school. Teach from home. And then I'm like my sister, man, like my church never stopped. Like we didn't have the people, but I was there Wednesday. I was there Sunday. We were teaching Sunday school virtual. And then I was helping my dad with his church. So it was just like I was still having the ability or having the opportunity to still be in my word and still allow me to have that deeper relationship with God, which kind of like kept me afloat. But then just recently, my parents got COVID. So it's just like, oh no, now it's my turn, to try to deal with the in-house. So not being able to see them kind of like hurts and having to leave the food outside the garage. And now I'm crying because they calling like we can't see each other. So luckily, thank God for technology that our parents are seasoned, but we got them working on them iPhones, on them iPads. Just touch this button. Don't touch nothing else, sir. Just touch this button. Sit here for 5 minutes so I can see you, and let's have a good time. So, but COVID is real. And we do pray for those who have lost loved ones. I lost so many friends, so many. My godfather passed away. I couldn't say bye. I couldn't go to the hospital. I couldn't go to the funeral home. I couldn't do anything but just be at home, just really crying, because I wasn't able to really say goodbye. So even though we're spiritual and we know that they're in a better place, in the natural form, you still want to have that ability to touch.
Mm-hmm.
And so just really having to deal with that, and being able to just have friends from afar that can call you and check on you is a tremendous blessing. So even hearing your testimony, Larry, is like, God is still good no matter what we go through.
Amen.
He has purpose for every step that we are making. So we encourage those who are listening that even though you're going through this, as the Bible says, it's just temporal. So, even though we have to work through it, just know that God is going to take care of us no matter what.
Amen.
As you were talking, I was really trying to fight back tears because I understand the part that you didn't get to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And you realize that the last time you talked was the last time you talked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand that completely. All right. Kanika?
Well, COVID has been a whirlwind for everybody. I too got infected with the virus back in December, right before Christmas. Um, excuse me, but then right before that, like you were talking earlier, we also got affected with, dealing with the hurricanes, because I too, again, am in Louisiana, and we had a whole tree just uproot and fell directly on our house. Um, when I say that was one of the scariest things I had ever experienced in life, I was just like, oh my gosh. And me and my family were in the house when it happened.
I was just talking to
Fortunately,
wow.
glory be to God. We literally had a whole huge tree on our house for like 2 weeks. Because everybody was trying to get help and, trying to get somebody to come out and trying to, get it off. But we finally had somebody to come and take it off. And when I say we had like 3 small holes in our roof, and that was it. So I just thank God that He kept us. When I say He's a protector, OMG, He is a
Amen.
protector.
Thank you,
Um,
Lord.
but again, yeah, I did get COVID. Fortunately, again, my family, my kids, my husband, they did not get it. I stayed in one section of the house, they were in the other section. Um, and it's rough because my mother is still in Michigan. And so normally we're together on holidays and stuff. So just being able to talk to her, but not being able to see her. I don't think I've seen my mother in 3 years. And so, yeah, 3 years. And like Andrea said, she does not have an iPhone. So not being able to even FaceTime her, that's rough. She does have an iPad. She ain't figured out how to work that yet. But we pray for her. Uh, but I really thank God because again, He has just been a protector. He has been awesome, and He is yet showing Himself strong through all of this and everything that we go through. He's just, I am God. Just keep your hand in my hand and just hold on to your faith and know that I am God and I am going to take care of you. And so I thank God for His supernatural power to do all things. And whenever we go through that, He'll be there.
Amen.
I'm gonna come to you, Ashley, in a second, but I just want to talk about. I'm still on this. We built the church in the middle of the. That's a question. How has the power of a seed and giving, you're seeing the results, and even tithing and all that stuff, you're seeing the results of how God can still prosper you. I am a living testimony that sowing and giving and all that actually works. Who knew that we was going to be in the midst of this and people still call to utilize your gift? Hey, I want to buy an ad in your magazine, all that kind of stuff. It's just amazing. I can look back and say, God is really honoring the times that even though it was tight, I still gave, I still sowed, I still did all of that. So how is the power of giving and sowing being a benefit to you now?
Well, I think I want to say that I can give an example of our church. See, once you have a relationship with God and you understand ministry, that salvation is free, but ministry costs, and that you want to keep the lights on at your church, you want to be able to still minister and do whatever you need to do, that costs. That's what a lot of young people don't understand. Like when you grab that microphone, the electricity has to come on, right? And so having senior members to help encourage other people in the ministry to continue to give, that's how we built that church. And pre-pandemic, being able to continue to give your tithes and offering, that's how we built that church. And then also, we built that church on faith, knowing that if God said it, He's going to provide the resources for you to complete the work.
Amen.
Ashley, I'm sorry. I took a little break for that, but go. How has God prospered you during this time?
I would have to say that COVID was bittersweet. Yes, it stripped us of a lot of things, but then it also, I was able to learn some things about myself. I was able to learn the fight that I had within me. I had to fight for my sanity and fight for my peace with just being in the house and not knowing what was going on, and just being here. I have a 6-year-old, I'm sorry, a 5-year-old and an 11-year-old. And just my 11-year-old, this was her 6th grade year, her first year of middle school. So it was something to watch her. She was so heartbroken that she wasn't able to start school with her friends. And I started to actually notice her falling into a sense of almost like a depression. She was in her room. She was in the dark, and it wasn't until she had a doctor's appointment, and they do the little survey and asking her how she felt. And so she expressed to them, how she was sad and how there were moments where she felt like crying. So like being in that, like it helped with my prayer life and everything. Because then I said, okay, if I can't pray for myself, I gotta pray for my baby so that she can, find some peace in the midst of all of this. So it did. It taught me some things about myself. Even we were out of church, but we had our Tuesday night Bible studies and Wednesday night, and we would alternate teaching. And so there were times then that I taught, pre-pandemic, but during the pandemic, it was like, okay, Ash, like, God, you're going to have to really give me something to say to encourage your people, because everybody is not as strong, and everybody is not able to hold on to their relationship with you, God, while we're outside of the walls, while we're in our own home. So it taught me some things about myself and some things about my relationship with God.
All right, we're still talking with the ladies of RiZen. They have new music coming. I can't be more excited about it. Let's talk about the new music. Well, first of all, before we get there, it's been, 10 years? In that time, or really 11 years, there's been a shift in terms of how people are buying music, how they're accessing music. How are you going to just kind of navigate through this whole little shift that has happened from selling CDs at a concert to now maybe not even being able to do concerts, but Spotify and all this other stuff? How do you plan to deal with the shift that's happening?
Well, yeah, so we are proud members of Pastor Dan Freeman's gospel record label, Daft Gospel Records, and all he keeps saying to us is social media, social media, social media.
He is correct.
Right? And so, I mean, we all have our personal pages, but we also have our RiZen, and that's RiZen for people that don't really know who we are. So we keep in contact with our fans through our social media. But I plan on whenever we get back on the road, I just plan to tell everybody to take their phones out and go and download.
Right, and Mary, believe it or not, like back in the day when we were selling the CDs, like we were selling them from out the car, we were selling them underneath the desk. You in Walmart, hey, you want to buy a CD? So it was just like you were straight, as the young people say, hustling. Trying to get sales. So it's like we got a backpack full of CDs, traveling on the airplane, a whole case coming from underneath the thing. And you got to take this big old package into the car, up the steps, it's like, come on, y'all. This is too much. So I'm like really cool with it now that, hey, get on your phone, text it to me, take the little bar what's that thing called? Scan bar. And just on your phone. Now for the senior citizens, we got to work on that part, because everybody ain't savvy like that. So, we got to kind of like be creative for them, so hopefully some of them grandkids will do us a favor and help Granny and Pawpaw download this new music. He'll be there.
You know what's funny? I'm laughing because I go nowhere without my backpack. In the backpack, I got my books because I'll promote on social media about my book, and people are like, "Hey, I need to get a copy of your book." Oh, you know? So you just gotta go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you do have a new single that is at radio. Let's talk about that.
So the new single is called "He'll Be There." It's written and produced by Aaron Lewis, who is one of the greatest producers in gospel music right now. And so we're very excited because, you know, like right behind me, you see my stairs, but upstairs is where we did He'll Be There, right? And we had a wonderful time.
Did
Ashley,
y'all all come together, or y'all did it like some people are doing, piecing
no, we came together. Everybody
Oh,
came
okay.
to my house. It was good. Like we
Yes,
even,
it was.
Ashley even fed us.
Come on.
No.
What Pastor Jay?
I had my mask on.
Yeah. Yeah, during the pandemic, that's exactly what we did, right? And it was so powerful, just the atmosphere when we were singing. God really came in and touched us. We began to pray and speak in tongues and sing till the power of the Lord came down. And that's what we want our audience to hear when they're listening to our song on the radio. We want them to feel what we felt upstairs in the studio. And it was amazing, Larry.
Amen.
That's good. So it's already at radio. He'll be there, and they can call, you know, the local radio stations, or even, come on, 10 years is bad. You can call your online radio station, cinema.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Tell them that if they don't have it in rotation already, to add it into rotation, and then of course purchase it, download it, stream it, do all of that to support the lovely ladies of RiZen. Listen, I'm so glad you're back, and I can't wait.
We're glad to be back.
Any final thoughts and comments you'd like to share with everybody? Let's start. We'll go up to Kanika first, and then come back to Adrian.
Just want to say to everybody, thank you so much for your undying love and support for RiZen. Thank you for holding us down throughout the years, throughout our hiatus. Thank y'all for still wanting to hear us and being there for us. And whatever you're going through, whatever you may be facing right now, financially, physically, spiritually, just remember that God is always there. Just turn to Him. Talk to Him, have that relationship with Him, and He will be there and He will see you through.
Yes, He will. I'm like Kanika. I just want to thank everybody for your continual support. Even when RiZen was off the scene, there were still people rooting for us and still praying that we would come back. And so at this moment, a lot of prayers.
Still playing the
Prayers, thank God for that. But a lot of prayers have been answered, and here we are. We're trusting God on this journey, and we're thankful for all your support. And we just thank everybody for celebrating with us for this reunion.
And we can't forget about, you know, those people even behind the scenes, you know, supporting us and praying for us, our families, all of our radio brothers and sisters, you know, but even still playing Vita City.
Yes.
Our local girl, she still be playing Vita City. Like, you know, Vita City just came out. I was like, okay.
Look,
You know, so just
version of This Shall
even,
Come to Pass, all that.
right. I had a coworker, she was like, girl, I still got the DVD playing. I was like, the DVD? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, those little moments we treasure, and those relationships, you know, that people have taken those pictures and be sending us in them inboxes. And it's just like, wow, they do love little us, you know? And so we love everybody back. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And hopefully, you know, save some money to the side, because your girls will be doing a concert, you know. Hey, Eventbrite still works. So we'll take that, you know, PayPal still works. We'll take that. And so, you know, it's all about just, you know, being able to be touchable the best way we can. So thank you. And we love you.
I just want to say again, thank you, Larry, for having us. You've always been a support of ours, a supporter, and we appreciate you. To all of our fans, thank you so very much. I just want to piggyback off of Andrea. We are preparing for a live concert, a live recording. It will be the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So
We have the virtual part to it too, where we can access it.
yes, we're going to be, some people will be in person, and then we will be live streaming it. And so,
Go past the
Pastor told me the date. The date is November the 27th, and it's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, at the new church.
Come on.
Yeah, so please put that on your calendar. Hopefully, Larry, you can fly on in and be with us. And
I haven't been on a plane in what, 2 years, but I might do it. I'm like,
yeah, hopefully everybody get vaccinated and stay away from each other. So we got this concert.
Yes.
All right. Hey, so you did say that you're on social media. How can they connect with you individually if you'd like, but then also how can they connect with the RiZen pages?
I think our individual names on Facebook, and then we have RiZen, RiZen. You can type in RiZen, it'll come up on there. I think it's Team RiZen on Instagram. And just type in RiZen. If you need to know more, just hit us up in our inboxes. We do chime back to everybody. So, we do take that time out. It's 4 of us. So if I can't do it today, Ashley, she'll say hi. If she can't do it that day, Kanika, she going to say hi. So that's the benefit of having 4 girls, 4 ladies. Somebody going to say hi.
I love it. All right. Well, this has been a pleasure. Stay right there. I have more to come right here on Gospel Updates TV. Don't move.
Celebrated media personality Larry W. Robinson presents Gospel Updates. Gospel Updates is the who, what, when, why, and where in the gospel music industry. Gospel Updates is a monthly magazine, weekly newsletter, video webcast, as well as a podcast. Gospel Updates has over 25 years of featuring people in the gospel music community. Gospel Updates magazine and the new Gospel Updates weekly newsletter document those who are continuing to help shape and write new chapters of this ever-evolving story of gospel. Go to www.gospelupdates.com. That's www.gospelupdates.com to get the latest issues. If you want to be featured, call or text 337-214-4046 or email gospelupdates@gmail.com for rates and details. Gospel Updates, featuring people in the gospel community for over 25 years.